We have an exciting game on our hands here from round 7 of the U.S. Chess Championship, played by everyone's favorite bad boy of chess, Grandmaster Hans Niemann, versus the commander of the black pieces, America's good guy of chess, Fabiano Caruana. And we get the Italian. Now, there's so many different ways that one could respond here. Knight f6, bishop c5. You could go bishop e7. More usual is knight f6 or bishop c5. Caruana goes a different path. He plays d6. And now it's like some sort of Philidor's gambit, stuff you would have seen in the time of Morphy a lot more commonly. Not as common these days. Now, this pawn structure takes on features of the King's Indian defense. In the classical variation, this bishop will attack behind the pawns potentially. The knights are going to be very tricky, as always in the King's Indian, to get them over to the king side to assist in the attack. Maybe the bishop comes to e7, it goes h6 or g7. This is not a King's Indian, though. It is an outright a violent, aggressive attack against the white castled position. In chess, you have 4 objectives in the opening. Control the center, keep your king safe, get your team off the bench, and try and develop threats. Well, if we look at what the 2 respective players here are doing, Hans has some of his players off the bench. King safety means usually castling. You don't want to do that all the time or too early, because then you telegraph where the other guy should attack. And that's what Caruana is looking to do here, is attack. And now we got this pawn storm coming in. And so there's this very caveman-esque kind of attack going on. Now this b6 move was a sacrifice of the pawn to allow the knight to get to b5 and cause problems with the base of the pawn chain at c7 or d6. Caruana's like, sorry, posted property, you cannot go there, do not trespass. And now the bishop gives way so that the knight can find another route into the position via the c4 square. The knights are coming over to assist with the attack. Both of the knights are getting into position. Now we can see Niemann has done nothing wrong here. He's intensifying pressure against the e5 point. He's doing a really good job here, and this is a difficult position. More pressure against this d6 backwards pawn, base of a chain. So interesting decision here. Usually in a regular King's Indian defense, this bishop can be a hero in that it can sacrifice itself over here on h3 if there's a white pawn there to help with the attack. But here, Fabiano Caruana gives up the bishop to get rid of that menacing knight. And he proceeds with his attack. And now the rooks are linked. Typically, you're out of the opening. It's kind of a rule of thumb if your 2 rooks can look at each other. This king has stayed in the center of the board. If this board were to open up, he would be an object of attack. And now, cool as a cucumber. Caruana just captures the pawn on b6. Well, the rook is looking to create threats against the black king, who's in the center of the board. The rook comes over, but there's a very sneaky motivation behind this move. Pretty bold. He's just going to shift the rook over to h7. Double stack of tower power down the h-file. And he just has to hold out long enough over on the queen side for his attack to come through. Now the bishop shifts over to help get rid of one of these menacing knights. And right here, we have an interesting moment in the game. This may have been a sign that Niemann knew that he was busted. He's panicked. There's no defense now, so he tries one last good throw of the dice here. And now, after this move, you could blunder by capturing that pawn with the rook, because after, let's say, moves like this, you could be checkmated. You can't relax ever in a game of chess. Just one bad move and you throw it all away. All that hard work. It's like painting a Mona Lisa and then you sneeze and smash your head through it and you ruin the picture. So here, the queen comes over to h4, threatening a checkmate on h2 or h1 if the h-pawn captures. Now this rook defends laterally along the 7th rank. And so it was here that Hans Niemann threw in the towel and called it quits. There is nothing left to be had after moves like this because the queen is hit. There's a mate, a medial mate coming down the H file. It's game over. There is nothing that can be done here. Excellent game, unusual game, beautiful game. Both players showcasing their creativity. It was only later that Niemann cracked under the pressure. But what an outrageous game. And this was at the U.S. Chess Championship. This was not your standard opening plan. And a man surprised is a man half beaten. So this d6 did its job, and then f5. And Niemann, he responded pretty well, but in the end, it was Fabiano Caruana that came out on top. Out of their last 6 encounters, Fabiano has won 5 of them. So Fabiano is a problem for Hans Niemann at this point in time. The future may prove to tell us a different story, though. We'll see how these two players continue their trajectories in the world of chess. Hans Niemann obviously making moves towards the top. Anyways, thanks for viewing. I wish you and yours all the best. Stay healthy, be well. Peace out.